Hey guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about my 5-star books of 2023 and 2024 and books that I would really wish I could reread for the first time again. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first one actually is something that this book had my whole soul. It literally crushed up my soul halfway through, and then it put it back together, and then it crushed it again. And I really wish I could read it for the first time again because it is so beautifully done. And that is If He Had Been With Me. You can tell how much I like a book by how many tabs I have in it. I put, I think, about 3 or 4 packs of tabs in this book, and it is just so heartbreaking, especially with you, like, so the first page basically spoils the whole thing for you, but it's the fact that you know what's happening, and then it builds up to the point where you're like, oh my god, I forgot about the ending, and then the ending hits you and you're like, what just happened? There was a second book to this made. I do have it. I just cannot bring myself to read it because no, I can't go through that emotional damage again. If He Had Been With Me is just so beautifully done. And the thing is, the author actually actually put the book towards her husband and said, "For my husband Robert, without you, I wouldn't have known how to write about true love." That's so heartwarming. And just oh my god, I love it so much. So I'm going to read you guys the back of this. It is, "If he had been with me, everything would have been different. Autumn and Finn used to be inseparable, but now something has changed. Or they changed. But now they do their best to ignore each other. Autumn has a boyfriend, Jamie, and her close-knit group of friends. Finn has become that boy at school, the one everyone wants to be around. That still doesn't stop Autumn from feeling the way every time she and Finny cross paths, and the growing nagging throughout that may have been the things that have been different. Maybe they should be together. And as time passes, Autumn realizes she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late." And I honestly, the whole story is just heartbreaking from the first page all the way through, but you're seeing progress-wise of why Autumn and Finn don't talk anymore. You see why Autumn is pulling towards Finn now more because she's realizing a lot of things. And the whole story in a complete book is just beautiful. This book was a 5 out of stars for me, and I really wish I could reread it for the first time. I cannot reread this book in 2 sessions because I will sob for 3 days straight. So, but 5 out of 5, it is an experience that I think every romance reader should have. The next one actually is a horror book. It's like a horror thriller book, but I do have some reasons of why I wish I could reread it for the first time and my 5-star rating of it, and that is Hidden Pictures. This book, I love paranormal books, movies. I like creepy little kids in book movies and, you know, TV shows. But it's also the way that the main character is a sober drug addict, and no one believes her. They think she's just crying wolf about the entire thing, and the only thing she cares about is the child that is going through this. The only reason she doesn't leave that job is because the child in her care, she cares about him so much. And I liked that the book had illustrations about what the kid was drawing, so we didn't just have to see it. But the thing is, with some of the imagery that we had, the detailing, the setting wise, you physically saw it in front of you. So let's read the back. "Mallory Quinn is first out of rehab, and when she takes a job babysitting Ted and Caroline Maxwell's 5-year-old daughter, oh sorry, not daughter, son, 5-year-old son, Teddy, she immediately bonds with the sweet little boy, who is never without his sketchbook. His drawings are the usual fare, trees, rabbits, balloons, but one day he draws something different, a man dragging a woman's lifeless body. Then his stick figures evolve into increasingly sophisticated sketches, depicting one disturbing scene after another. Is Teddy in trouble, or is he challenging forces he can't possibly understand? Knowing how just crazy it all sounds, Mallory must decipher the images and save Teddy before it's too late." And I'll tell you what, the plot twist in this book, man, I dropped my book and I was like, didn't see that coming. And I really liked Mallory. She's one of my favorite final girls. I love her so much. And there is a little romance twindled in here, you know. But honestly, 5 out of 5. This is an annual reread for me, especially around like Halloween and stuff. But yeah, I definitely love this one and I would recommend it to anybody that likes paranormal, wants to get into the mystery horror side of book talk. Love it so much. 5 out of 5. The next one is very like hot and cold when it comes to book opinions, but in my opinion, I loved it and it actually is one of the books that got me back into reading, and that's We Were Liars. The reason I like this one so much is I like the idea of we see the character relive what happened to her and we understand her point of view of things. And honestly, the first time I read this book, I sobbed in a public park while sitting on a park bench in front of my entire family, because the ending to this, and we find out the reason why she just doesn't remember anything, is just so heartbreaking in my opinion. And to think, you know, I have a lot of cousins. I grew up with cousins who were very close in age to me. My cousin that I'm closest with, he's 16, I'm 21, but I do have 2 other cousins who are older. And just the idea of, you know, you're all happy, you're running around, you're having fun, and the next thing you know, you don't remember any of it, and then we learn why, and it just makes my heart break. So, if anyone asks how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. Very, very cryptic backing, and that's what pulled me into it probably the most. I really like when a book makes me think, what's this got to do? So 5 out of 5 goes to We Were Liars, one of the first books I ever gave a 5 out of 5 to, and I will cherish, this forever. Going to one of my favorite book series of all time, that the fact of I have read every single book and I still have it on my bookshelf. I have kept these books since high school, and that's the Hush Hush series. This series, it really kind of got me into like fantasy in some way. I don't read much fantasy, but I do love these books because it's about, you know, fallen angels, and oh my god, I love these characters with my whole heart. The way that it's kind of like that trope of they go in with a certain objective and then it turns out that they can't do that objective anymore because they're in love. And so we'll read the back. This book makes me sob. When Nora and Patch were forced together as lab partners, Nora would rather fall to her death than put up with his elusive answers to her questions, his teasing, and his infiltratingly handsome face, and hypnotizing eyes. It seems Patch was put on Earth just to drive her crazy. But, before long, Nora's defenses start to break down as her curiosity about Patch heats up. Why does he seem to be wherever she is and knows exactly what she's thinking? How does he know what to say both attract and repulse her? And what is up with those V-shaped scars on his chiseled back? As their connection grows stronger, Nora's life becomes increasingly frail. Nora needs to decide, is Patch the one who wants to harm her or the one who wants to keep her safe? Has she fallen for one of the fallen? Beautiful book, beautiful love story. My heart was complete when I first read this book. And there's one quote in the back that's a spoiler, but I'm not going to spoil it, but always will be and forever will be a 5 out of 5 in my book. Okay, the second to last one shattered me to a million pieces. Just like If He Had Been With Me, this book shattered me. And if I reread it, I just can't even bring myself to tab it because it's just the fact of this book screwed me up so much because it's a real life issue. 2, I literally feel like I just want to hug the character. I just want to jump into the pages of the book and hug her and be like, it's okay, I believe you, it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this together. As someone who has had this same situation happen to me, I feel greatly for this character. And I feel like her as a character, she represents a lot of, people in the world that you just gotta listen to the back. I want to get as far away from the past as possible. Be as different from that girl as I can. Eden was always good at being good. Starting high school didn't change who she was. But the night her brother's best friend grapes her, Eden's world capsizes. What was once simple is now complex. What Eden once loved, who she once loved, she now hates. What she thought she knew about the truth are now lies. Nothing makes sense anymore, but she knows she's supposed to tell someone what happened, but she can't. So she buries herself instead, and she buries the way she used to be. Told in 4 parts, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, this productive debut reveals the deep cuts of trauma, but has also demonstrated one of the young woman's strength as she navigates the disappointment and unbearable pains of adolescence, of first love and first heartbreak, of friendships broken and rebuilt, all while learning to embrace the power of survival she never knew she had hidden within her heart. Can you guys tell how, like, this book just makes me stumble on my words? Because no matter what, this book will always be a top 5 out of 5 for me. This book is the top 5 out of 5 that I have. Like, top 5 of the top 5 out of 5, she's in there. And just the way, like, the way no one believes her. And like I said, I can relate to that on a very personal level, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who this has happened to have experienced the same thing. And in my opinion, this book shows that awareness is being brought, and we are going, awareness is being brought to the whole issue. And I just want to hug her and, like, give her, like, this giant hug and say, it's going to be okay. I believe you. We're going to get this figured out. So, yes, The Way I Used to Be is a 5 out of 5 in my own opinion, and that's how I stand. And finally, another book that is very controversial when it comes to what characters and or readers believe at the end is Verity. This book, I know that when I say it's a 5-star, people are always like, oh, well, what do you think how it ends? What do you think about how it ends? I think I side with a majority of people when it comes to how I feel about the ending. But the whole preface of this book of you find out all these secrets. It's basically a written confession right in front of you. And you basically read the entire confession as you read through the story. Each chapter of this manuscript is right through the entire thing, and it's basically the author is confessing everything to you. I forgot I was reading a fictional book at first because it's how much it affected me. So Verity, in my opinion, based on the characters, the plot, the everything in it, when it comes to imagery, setting, the plot line, how there was 2 plot lines in both the manuscript and in the book itself, in my opinion, was phenomenal. But yes, Verity is a 5 out of 5 for me, and it always will be. So 5 out of 5 for Verity. But anyway, guys, that's it from me today. I love you all so much. Keep me in the loop of what you've been reading. We will see you guys in the next one.